Great. Next, Judith, you were friends of Leon, and you want to introduce this?
Yes. Thank you, Paul. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Tim. Azline Suber, her husband Monty Suber, and a friend, Anna, please come up and join us.
I guess I'm the speaker. Thank you.
So as we all know, Andre Leon Talley was a resident of the town of Greenberg. He's just recently passed in January, and Andre was a iconic, historic person in the world of entertainment and fashion. He was a journalist, a writer, a speaker. I will let Azline tell you more about Andre and why she is here and her proposed, Azline and Monty, her husband, are residents of the town of Greenberg, and they are here to present to the town board a proposal for creating a commemorative street sign in honor and memory of Andre Leon Talley. Azline?
Yes, hi everyone. To give honor to Paul, Judy, and all the committee. I am a Christian, so I give honor to you guys to have my presentation. Glad to be here. The reason why, as you know, I met Andre Talley a couple of years ago, and it was amazing. And I used to watch him on TV, and I used to say, who's this man? And this man went all over the world. As you know, in 1967, in years, Afro-Americans it was hard to be a fashion designer. It was hard to come out and everything. So when this gentleman saw me, God is so good. When this gentleman saw me, I walked into a city limit. And when I walked in city limit, I guess I had something that really took his attention, as you will see on the news. He said, "Fabulous, fabulous." And I said, and my wonderful husband said, I said, "Oh my God, this is the man I wanted to see all my life from Biloxi, Mississippi." So he said, come over, come over. So when he came over, I came over, we talked. He said, "I see something in you." He said, "You're gonna make a difference in the world." And you know what? I did. He made me the top fashion for Neiman Marcus, black and white with Michelle Obama. He made me a fashion for I do all day shows because of Andre Leon Talley. I gave a plaque for him at City Limit. And when you walk into City Limit, you'll see a beautiful plaque that is there for him. And then it's a lot of reasons why we should get it. Don't have to be his street. It could be the library. He worked hard for everybody. He worked hard to get us on the map. He didn't care what color. He just was there for us. He brought many stars there. Gladys Knight, Mark Jacob, Cara, Austin, everybody. Jennifer Huss, everybody at City Limit. He could have went to the biggest restaurant, but where did he go? He went to City Limit, and he brought everybody. Everybody flew into Westchester Airport. Whoopi Goldberg, The View, all of them went to the City Limit.
Was this March 23rd?
Oh, well, March the 23rd, it was a different. Okay, I'll tell you why that was a different. But I'm just letting you know how he went. He should be honored. He's been living over there for 20-something years, or 16 years. I feel that you should come out and show love and kindness and give honor. Now, the reason why I gave this, because I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't see anyone was doing anything. I said, this is someone that gave the world, went out there for fashion. Every designer, Donna Karen, everybody talks about him. So my spirit said, okay, let me go talk to somebody. And I went to speak to the man at City Limit, where he always was there, where I met him at. And he said, you do whatever you have to do. on March the 23rd, before I did it, I met Judy. And I said, listen, you got to come. You got to get the people to come. But I didn't have to worry about that because God sent everybody into City Living. It was so many people there. It was just so wonderful, designer. And I gave that tribute. You know, he went to Calvin Buck Church. They was very happy. And it's just so many people are so happy for us to work together. It don't have to be where he live at. It can be the library or somewhere.
I just had an idea that I thought of.
Okay.
You know, I feel that one of, you know, his greatest qualities was that he inspired.
Yes.
And I'm wondering if maybe an entrance, you know, we have some streets leading to some schools. So, you know, I'm sort of thinking that, you know, it could be the Highview School, it could be the Lee Jackson School, you know, there's like an honorary street designation. It could be the street going to Woodlands, because I think that it would be really nice for young people to realize that they too could be successful, and every time they pass that, they should realize, you know, they have potential.
Yes.
And, you know, there's students who maybe they want to go in the fashion industry.
Yes.
Maybe they want to go into journalism or whatever. And I think that would be, you know, if we could take like a school, it could be an elementary school, it could be a middle school, it could be a high, whatever you would think, that would be, to me, like a really appropriate location. And then we could have the faculty, the administration and the teachers and the school district, you know,
Yes.
teach about his life. And maybe we could also organize, you know, a scholarship,
Yes.
you know, for a student who's interested in,
Yes,
you know, in fashion. So it could be, you know, you could have like you could take the school, you could take like the street, and then every year there could be an award, say, right before graduation,
Nice.
in his name.
It's a good thought.
Do you know if he was at all affiliated with the BOCES school on Grasslands Road?
Well, before he died, he was going to go to BOCES, and he was going to Mississippi. He was going to go around the world. But unfortunately, God took him home. He, like Mr. Paul said, that he was going out to make a difference. You know, he's an icon. He made the
No,
difference.
I understand that, but the reason I ask about the BOCES school is because they have fashion design there. They have fashion design programs.
Okay.
And it might be interesting to engage the BOCES school in this effort to see maybe if we could expand the honorarium beyond Town of Greenberg schools and maybe include the fashion design program at BOCES.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I was thinking when I attended Woodlands High School, we had a WISE project. So that helped us prepare for an introduction to the world. We did internships. So I think that also, if you speak to the school administration and see perhaps we can have some sort of project maybe surrounding by him, you know, or something honoring him in that aspect. So.
I just want to propose that we think about the honorary street as being one that has broad accessibility. I'm just thinking that, you know, sort of, you know, a street affiliated with BOCES, for example, is sort of isolated. I think that it should have broad accessibility because Andre was a gigantic figure
Yes, he
of a
was.
person in terms of what he brought to the industry of fashion, of entertainment, of design, of journalism, of speaking, writing, teaching, acting. He was in several movies.
Sure, but I wasn't actually
was-
talking about us naming a street after him leading to BOCES. I was talking about engaging the fashion design program to do something around, in his memory, in addition to the street naming somewhere.
Excellent
Well,
idea.
you've both had good ideas, so if we're going to have this an ongoing thing, 1 year could be BOCES, 1 year could be Woodlands, 1 year could be Highview.
Well, I can say this, if I have anything to do
Can't
with
move
it,
streets around
every
every
year,
No,
I-
not naming streets.
every year,
No, events. not
every
schools.
year I will, be having something for
Oh, yes.
Andre Leon Talley.
Yes.
Because he is great. He made history. And you know, all us, let's not sugarcoat. You know, back in the 60s, fashion they wouldn't even let you in the door with fashion. And so,
Can I say something?
go ahead, sweetie.
Yes,
Present yourself.
I met Andre Leon Talley at City Limits, but I've been in the fashion industry for over 50 years. I'm retired now. And it was very difficult in the fashion industry. Sometimes I would be the only one of color because I was a children's wear designer. Then I started working for Jay-Z, doing Rockaware children's wear. And the name of it was Kids Headquarters. So I traveled everywhere. When I spoke to Andre about this in City Limits, he says, "What are you doing? If you travel for pleasure. I would like to see you at a job, stable, you know." And I took his advice. And we became friendly. I would show him my portfolio and everything. And of course, I knew, before I met him, I knew of him. So I took his advice, and after a while, because I was traveling a lot, it was like nonstop, always in Asia and everything like that. So I left the position, and then I was a technical design manager for a production company. And so Andre was very happy because then I was doing the production for the top black designer, Tracy Reese. And then he says, "That's where you belong," because him and Tracy were very friendly. And so I'm glad I took his advice a little bit later on in my years, but I did that. I was also technical designer for Guinea, you know, and I also technical design manager for Oscar de la Renta and technical designer for Ralph Lauren. And that was the inspiration of Andre. One of the things if I would just say this, he says, these are his words. He says, "I find great satisfaction in encouraging the people. There are not enough people in the world
Yes.
who encourage people who have great talent.
Yes.
I want to be remembered for supporting the greats and for being the person behind the scenes of the greats. And I want to be remembered for my respect, vitality, and my enthusiasm for my work." He knew his work. He was not a phony. He learned it, he worked it, he applied it, and I think his work was his life.
He was a guest speaker
Yes.
to our interns back in 2016 or 17, and he told the interns, "Follow your passions and your dreams in life. Do not be discouraged by obstacles or challenges, and never give up." That was his message to youth in the town of Greenburgh.
And you know, and I'm going to say this, and then I want to present it. A young person like me coming from Biloxi, Mississippi, and Mississippi, you know, I had a chance to, even though it was a rough time, but I had a chance to come up here through Hurricane Katrina. I had lost everybody, but God was so good to me, and God put it into me. I am a thing, but God put it in my heart to say, to work with everybody. I have worked with the greatest. And I am truly proud because when I go home, do you know what my peoples in Mississippi say? You made it happen. You worked with Michelle Obama, you worked with Hillary Clinton. You worked with the greatest from Biloxi, Mississippi. A little chocolate beautiful woman, I'm gonna say. Queen that came from Biloxi, Mississippi, and made a name for herself in New York. So what I'm saying is that, you know, it's really hard. And we just don't want him just, because he gone, just be forgotten. Because
Can I ask you a question? Would you have any objections if, say, we reached out to the school districts and asked them that they could select an entrance to the school, and then we combine it with, say, a scholarship? And then, you know, we could, you know, suggest that we do this as a way of inspiring.
Right.
And, you know, I could work on that tonight or
Thank you.
tomorrow.
Okay.
And then, you know, if you want to email me or whatever, then I could basically send you copies of the correspondence, and
Okay.
and then we could work, together. And I'm sort of wondering, because I know that you're the type of person who's very action-driven, and and we can't basically just say, oh, we're going to look at this.
Yeah.
So
I know
could we
everything
give
takes-
ourselves, like, say, a month?
Yeah, take
And
some
maybe
time,
put this
yeah.
on the agenda a month from now?
Yes.
And then we could, hopefully, if the board goes along, then we could say a month from now, we could make a decision, and, and then we get something done, and then we could plan, it would be really great, and then maybe we could start, like, an award. I think it would be really fantastic if we could honor a student at, the Greenberg schools that
Yes.
does the most for fashion.
Yes, yes.
And do that every year, because that can make a big difference in that person's life.
Yes.
Absolutely. I think that's a wonderful idea.
Yeah.
Where on Worthington did he live?
A business
Excuse
card?
me?
Yes.
Where on Worthington? Do you know his address? I wasn't able to find his address.
I don't know his address.
He lived at 75
75
Worthington
Worthington.
Road.
I went
And
over
you
there
said
to
he was
see
there
him.
for 30 years? 30
No,
years?
no, not 30
He
years.
lived over there to
Like
us.
close to 20. I
20
think.
years.
Right.
Because he's been in White, as you will see when you present, he's been in White Plains for a long time, and many of the stars, he came from New York and brought everybody. When we did this, everybody did not know that Leon Talley was living in.
Yeah, everybody said he's White Plains.
Town of Greenberg.
Yes, I was like,
Town of Greenberg.
I'm so confused where I live at. I have to say, wait a minute, where do I live at there?
It takes people years, and some people never figure out where they live in Greenberg.
Yes, and I'm like, okay, why we got White Plains? So it's just truly how this have came, and I said, you know what, let me just talk, but I want you to see the present, and then you guys make up your mind. I'm with you, I'm not gonna stop.
minds are made up.
Okay. This was at city limits.
Got corned beef hash, overwhelmed.
The Wednesday morning breakfast club is the old hat for city limits general manager King Valley.
How's the meal? This is our daily routine.
But since January, it's been different.
He was bigger than mine.
That's the
A
owner.
favorite customer of almost 30 years stopped showing up.
It was heartbreaking.
Leon Talley had died at 73 years old. He loved it here, especially the turkey chili, extra onions, and the cheesecake.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
He put city limit on the map. That's because he wasn't just another diner, but a fashion icon. He brought all sorts of stars and designers here. He was the pharaoh of fabulosity. Talley was the former creative director and editor-at-large of Vogue, the author of 2 memoirs. He even made some TV appearances. But his favorite place to eat at home in White Plains wasn't some fancy Michelin star restaurant, but City Limits Diner.
So now the diner is giving back with a plaque that will forever remind diners of Talley's influence.
He loved White Plains, and that's why I felt that White Plains should come out for him.
Azline Suber met him right here 2 years ago at his favorite corner booth when he complimented her outfit.
And I heard sister say, fabulous, fabulous.
Their conversation that day changed her life. Now she's doing this for him, to thank the man who gave so much to so many. Brian Seltzer, News 12.
And I have it was a lot of news people there
Yeah.
with Judy and a lot of more. So it was 5, all news station came out, and they were just so thrilled that we went out our way. I went out my way to do this because, like I said again, no one did not know anything. I said, no, we can't let him go in vain. We have to show love, show kindness, because your blessings come when you give.
Absolutely.
You may not see it, but it comes. So I pray that all of y'all get together and we just work together. Because let me say something to you, when we do a general hustle, everybody gonna be here. They're gonna give a party because they love. He brought Gladys Knight, Love Overboard. Come on, Love Over. I mean, he brought the fashion, Donna Karen, Mark Jacob, all of them speak. You cannot hear one bad word. He would never be forgotten. He brought us together in the fashion, in everywhere else. And just like I said, he could have went to the highest restaurant, but he chose
City.
y'all, our town.
Yeah, yes.
My wife was ready to kill me for not telling her that that he lived in Greenberg and went to that diner. So she said, I can't believe it.
Yes.
So she was, but you know, it really was a credit to the town, and it's also, you know, I feel that he will continue to inspire, and that's why I love the idea of really doing
Thank
something
you.
with students. And
Yeah.
And that would be nice. And just remember one thing, you know, he died alone in White Plains Hospital. It took, you know, just to die alone. And, you know, it's not good. But he had one person out praying for him, me.
yeah.
So he did not die alone, I told him.
That's right.
But so I feel that we all can get together. We can work, we can do something.
Good. I'm really excited about it.
We got our charge.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Was it the coat that he complimented you on? Because I
Oh,
saw that when you walked in.
Thank you.
So I
No,
just had to give him compliment.
thank
too,
you.
so,
I had on matter of fact, I had on a leopard black and white. I had hair then, but my girlfriend had breast cancer, so I shaved it to support.
Oh,
I
very
go-
nice.
So I go out and support.
Wow.
Matter of
You
fact, I
are a
think it
great
just-
friend.
I was looking like this.
I love it.
I had hair then,
Right.
and I walked in, and my world changed. And like I said again, I got magazines I do because of him. I'm gonna be the number one now.
You said you had cards, so in case we need some study.
Yes, okay, I sure will. And like I said again, read up on it. Michelle Obama. They came to black and white. We put black and white, J. Crew, because of Andre Talley. All in back, and money came in.
Great. Well,
Thank you.
so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you for bringing a little joy.
Thank you.
Okay, mind if I get your number?
Thank you, Judith. Thank you.
I sure will.
So
Thank you.
Azline and Anna and Monty, as you're leaving, I just want to add that it's written, it's in writing, that he helped break glass ceilings.
Yes.
And I'm just going to add glass doors and glass windows.
Thank you.
For many young people, particularly African Americans and young people of color, to get into the news industry,
Thank you.
news, fashion, and entertainment.
Right.
And you, in bringing him to us, you have also brought that out. Thank you, Azline.
Thank you.
And thank you. And before I have to get a picture for the Journal News, if you don't mind, when you get a chance, when y'all get through with everything.